Hey everybody, it's Sims here and welcome back to my channel. My game is really heavily modded, but to be honest, there's only a few mods that I cannot live without, and I wanted to make a video talking about my absolute must-have mods. I especially wanted to make this video because I feel for people who are just starting to mod their game. There's so many mods out there. Even I have put out so many mod reviews on different mods, many of which are really cool, but if you download like a bunch of these mods all at once, it can be so overwhelming if you're just starting to mod your game. So these are a few that I think are really good for people who are starting to get into modding, or even if you're just like looking for new mods to put in your game and you haven't heard of these before, these would be really good for you. I will also note I have mentioned most of these, if not all of these, before on my channel because they're just that good. So if you do notice some repetition, it's because I just can't live without them. So jumping right into it, the first mod I want to talk about is MC Command Center. MC Command Center is a mod by Deadpool that adds a lot more control for your game, and it also adds a lot of story progression options, which I don't have enabled, but I have used them before and they're really good. In general, it is a way for you to have a greater control of like what's going on in your game. It can be accessed either through clicking on the sim or through clicking on a computer. You can click MC Command Center, and through the computer is where you can actually set settings and stuff. You can get gameplay settings and you can change all this stuff. Like you can even change the game time speed. This is how, if you guys have seen how people have more than 8 sims in a household, this is usually how they're doing it. They're usually doing it through MC Command Center. With the MC Command Center story progression, you can like set who you want getting pregnant and stuff like that, who you want starting new relationships, because it's like a real story progression and it's really cool. And for all of that, MC Command Center will send you notifications if you have this stuff on. You can even change phone texts. It'll set what text messages you'll receive when your phone is silenced. A really cool aspect of the story progression that is not like necessarily, you know, sims getting in relationships, getting married, getting pregnant. It's just like an extra little thing. You can set sims joining and leaving clubs, which is really cool to me because like I use clubs a lot in my game just as like a way to spice up my storytelling. You can change a bunch of the occult settings if you have any of the occults in your game. It's very customizable. With a specific tuner menu, you can change a bunch of like behavior. I like to check allowing multiple BFFs on. If you have like a storyline going on with a runaway teen or something, you can allow teenager move-in, stop random flirting. I like turning that on too. And with autonomy, you can turn on autonomous proposals, marriage, all that stuff. And you can even stop autonomous mean interactions if you wanted. So that was the computer menu, but if we go into the MC Command Center from the sim, as you can see, it's like pretty much specific settings related to our sim. So right now we're at Emelinda Stark. She is a young adult with aging disabled, no spouse, currently 0 children. But then if we go into pregnancy, you can see like the whole situation here. It does spoil the gender reveal for you if you care about that, so keep that in mind. This is just an example of how much information you're getting. And you can set different things. You can set the pregnancy phase, specify the offspring count. You can end the pregnancy, you can pause it, you can change the partner. Like there's so many things you can do here just to change what's going on. One thing I always use MC Command Center through the sim for is MC Dresser, just to like change an outfit. It's just a really easy way to like have an outfit change, like if I'm posing sims or something like that. There's a bunch of other things you can do here as well. I will have a more in-depth MC Command Center tutorial coming. One other thing that is really useful that I use a lot is if I go into MC Command Center on a different sim and then I go to MC Cheats, I can make sim leave. So sometimes like the send home or the just go away options that are like in-game, sometimes they don't work as well as I'd like them to, but the MC Cheats option of making a sim leave will make them leave immediately. She's just leaving. It's very helpful sometimes if you just like need somebody to go away. So that is a very high level overview of MC Command Center. Again, more in-depth tutorial will be coming soon, but I hope this was helpful in highlighting how amazing this mod is and why it is just so necessary for me. The next mod I can't live without is the posing mod. So this is Andrew's teleporter as well as the pose player. I pose my sims all the time. I am a YouTuber, so for my thumbnails and stuff stuff like that. I do love to pose my Sims, but not even for that. Sometimes just like for my own purposes, I am huge into storytelling. So just being able to pose Sims is so helpful with storytelling and stuff like that. Pose Player is really, really easy to use. All you have to do is click on a Sim, any Sim. You can pose Sims outside your household too. Click on Pose by Pack, and then any poses you have downloaded in your mods folder are gonna show up in here. I have so many, as you can see, and a lot of them are actually from other mods. So for example, I have the Passionate Romance mod by Sacrificial, and then I have just like regular storytelling poses that I've gotten myself. I have a lot of family photo poses, pregnancy photo poses, things like that, and I really just like taking these pictures and having them for my own purposes. I like to put them in my Discord a lot, actually. It's just a really, really nice touch to add into your game if you are a more storytelling simmer, to have these cute pictures of your Sims. So with posing, your Sims will like kind of just pose wherever they're at, and a lot of poses are like maybe they're a couch pose, or they have to be on a bench, or like leaning against a wall or something. So the way that you can work around that is with the teleporter mod, and what you can do is teleport a Sim like into an object, or just like wherever you need them to go. But for example, if I teleport Emelinda here, now I can use certain poses that I do have where she is sitting down. So for example, I have this one where she is on a bench. This is technically a park bench, so I don't know if it's gonna clip a little bit, but we can try it. It is a little bit clipping into the sofa because it's meant to be for a park bench, but you guys get the idea of how like I wouldn't have been able to pose her in the right place without the teleporter mod, because if I had just like had her stand right in front of the sofa, she would have been posing out here. And that also showed you guys how posing works. They immediately pose. It's just an action that comes up here, and what you can do is either click on the Sim and hit stop posing, or you can click the action. If you are posing other Sims, it's actually perfect that Asmodeus came over right now. I do want to show you guys quickly how posing another Sim works. I'm just gonna do a random pose. So if I do Pose by Pack, and then let's just put him into a random pose. So he is gonna sniff the air first, of course he is. So as you guys can see, he just snapped into a pose, and because he's not in my household, I can't cancel out the action, but we do have the stop posing interaction on him, and he will stop posing. And there you go. It's really, really simple. One disclaimer is that for the teleporter mod, because it is like placed in build mode, there's not much you can do off of a grid lot, if that makes sense. So for example, I don't think I could place a teleporter here. Just keep that in mind. If you have like a couples pose or a family pose and you want to post them somewhere out here, you won't be able to teleport them all to the same location, which usually you would have to do. Also, there is a way to pose your Sims through Wicked or Wonderful Whims. So I have Wonderful Whims, and if you click on it, there is a way to pose. It comes up with the same exact like posing here. So I just click the pose, and through Wonderful Whims, she is now posing. Now if I get rid of it, she stops posing. So it works very much the same way. If you guys have any other like tips and tricks on how to pose, feel free to comment them down below. But this is absolutely a must-have for me, not just as a YouTuber making thumbnails, but just as a storyteller. Now the third mod I want to go over, technically it's multiple mods, and it's basically just any custom food mod. I can't live without my custom food mods nowadays. It's just so fun to make custom foods like for a party, or even just like on a day-to-day. I can't live without it anymore. My favorites are Granny's Cookbook. Granny's Cookbook has a whole bunch of recipes that comes with it once you download the mod. As you can see in the menu, breakfast, barbecue, appetizers, meals, and desserts, and then you have a separate snack section, which is really nice. The amount of recipes you get with Granny's Cookbook is insane. The other custom recipes that I've really enjoyed now are Oni's recipe pack. It comes in this really cute little grocery bag, and what you can do is just click on it, you get Cook, and again, it's organized really well. I do also have some of Ice Munmun's recipes, so if I click on the fridge and click custom food and then cook custom meal, I have a few things over here. I have burgers and a few sandwiches, and I also do have some functional objects. So if you click on the kitchen appliances, all of them show up, including Granny's Cookbook and the Oni's recipe pack, they'll all show up here. I also have a functional toaster item. I have an air fryer. I have done a mod review video on a bunch of these functional objects if you guys want to go check it out. Even if I didn't have all the functional objects, the two I would need are Granny's cookbook and Oni's recipe pack. The fourth mod I want to talk about is Panda Sama's childbirth mod. So this is obviously a very, very famous mod, and it's actually the only gameplay overhaul mod I'm including in this must-have video because it is the only gameplay mod I have, and I have a lot, but it's the only one I have that I can't play without now because of just how much it adds to the game. It's insane how good and how comprehensive it is in changing up aspects of childbirth and pregnancy to make it so much more realistic and so much more immersive. There are a bunch of mod reviews going over like specific aspects of the mod that you guys can check out, but just to like show off what I can here with Emelinda in her second trimester, if you go to the home menu in the phone, calling the obstetrician is from this mod. So when you call the obstetrician, you get a bunch of birthing options. So you can do surgery, natural, C-section, and home birth. And now there's also a pregnancy checkups option. So if we click that, you get a pap smear, ultrasound, and blood test, which is so freaking cool. How about we do that actually? Because I've never done this part of the mod before. And now it's saying get an ultrasound. We'll just go alone. This actually sent us to the hospital, which I wasn't sure if it would do. That's another really cool thing about the childbirth mod. It's so immersive. It's not just gonna send you on rabbit holes, which like sometimes I want just a rabbit hole, like I don't want to deal with it, but sometimes just having the immersion is just so freaking cool. I don't know if we have to check in. Okay, so what we actually have to do to get this to work the first time is we have to place down an ultrasound machine ourselves, and this is all in the mod description, so don't worry, it'll be linked down below. And it's actually really amazing, like the step-by-step. And let me show you while the Sims are heading over there. Panda Sama has written step-by-step instructions on every single aspect of this mod. It's so freaking helpful. I've never used the pregnancy checkups before, right? And I was like, how is this supposed to work? And they've written a step-by-step guide. We can set an ultrasound preference. Would you like to find out the gender of your baby? How about we say no, I want to keep it a surprise, and then let's start the ultrasound scan. Oh my god, this is so cute. And now we got already in love from ultrasound scan. Emelinda can sometimes feel her baby kicking around in her belly, but it's another thing to finally see them on a screen. Emelinda is filled with joy at the sight of her baby and is feeling a sense of amazement and awe at the miracle of life. She can hardly wait to meet her child. We also got this ultrasound scan in our inventory. So if we click on one of these, we can get blood work done. How about we try that out? We will get your results back tomorrow. Please don't worry too much. If there are any issues or concerns in your result, I'll make sure to get in touch with you and discuss everything in detail. But remember, no news is good news. There is also a separate object for a pap smear. So if we search for pap, yeah, so we can get the pap smear bed. Let me just stick it over here. Guys, the animations for these things are so realistic too. It's really, really cool. I can't show it that much, but you can kind of see from this angle just how realistic it is. You are all done. The initial examination appears to indicate no cause for concern, but we'll have a definitive answer after the lab analysis. You can expect the results within the next 24 to 48 hours. You may experience some spotting or mild discomfort for a day or so, but that's perfectly normal. For the purposes of this video, that's all I'm really going to show off in game, but I'm sure you guys can tell why this is one of my must-have mods. It's so in-depth, and this is literally just one aspect of the mod. These three things were just for pregnancy checkups. If we go back to the mod description, you can see how many things there are in this, from the beginning to even the toddler stage. It's just so in-depth, and that's why it's one of my must-haves. The last mod that I absolutely need is the UI cheats mod, and this is really helpful just for storytelling in general. It's a really helpful mod to use. In general, similar to the purpose of MC Command Center, this is a mod that gives you more control over your game and over your Sims lives. So one thing you can do, for example, is cheat up needs really easily. All it takes is a left click and you can put needs up. Another thing you can do, for example, right click on a want, you can complete it or re-roll it. If you want to get rid of a trait, you can do that. You can just remove a trait, any trait you want. You can unlock milestones. This is being done by right clicking on these items, by the way. Right clicking on reputation, you can set it. You can give so much control over your game. For example, NAPs. I know a lot of people get annoyed with NAPs, myself included. I can't show you guys right now, unfortunately, but all you have to do if something has been put into action is right click it and remove it. It's so easy. Another thing you can do is right click on moodlets to delete them. Here's a good example. I do have the university application overhaul mod. So even though she had this whim to apply to universities, it technically didn't check off because that overhaul mod probably like didn't trigger it, because she really did complete it. Like, she's in university now. We can go ahead and complete it ourselves. Another cool thing you can do is change up the lunar cycle. You can change the weather. This is something that's really useful for thumbnails. If you guys are making your own thumbnails and you want really good lighting and just need it to be sunny real quick, that's a really good way to do it. You can complete aspiration milestones if you want to, just by right clicking on it. Honestly, I'm not even going over every single thing you can do with UI cheats. I'm pretty sure when in doubt, right click on something in the game and you can probably do something about it. Like, for example, I'm sure you can change the eco footprint. Very useful, and I don't think I could play this game without it anymore. With that, guys, those are my 5 absolute must-have mods that I cannot live without. Please comment down below any thoughts, ideas, or opinions that you have. Let me know if you have any mods that you absolutely love and can't live without too. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, do consider joining the channel as a member, and I will see you later. Bye, guys.